Hey, it's Whitney from EcoVeganGallet.com and welcome back to the What a Vegan Eats channel. This is actually a live video that I'm doing on Google Hangouts. Well, it's not live if you're watching the recording, but I'm recording this live because I want to test out my internet connection and this background, the setup that I have here. As you can see, I'm not in my usual spot. That's because I'm in Massachusetts and doing my live Q&As on my main EcoVeganGal channel. I thought that I wanted to test this out, and what better channel to do this on than this one, because I haven't posted in a little while, and I was thinking about the fact that I hadn't posted on this channel. So I apologize as always, and I've been trying. I want to start posting at least once a week on this channel. I have some content that I'll be uploading soon, so stay tuned. So while I'm recording this video, I'm testing out this new microphone that I have. I'll still be using my main microphone on the Q&A channel, but I just got this new webcam a few weeks ago and I've never used the microphone on it before. So you get to experience this whole testing out phase along with me, and I notice I'm shaking a little bit. Lots of little things I need to resolve. So thank you for watching. I do actually have something to talk about today other than the fact that I'm testing something. I thought I might as well have some content up for you, and I want to tell you about what it's like to spend the holidays with my non-vegan family and what I eat here. So I have been vegan since 2003, so it's been 11 years. This is my 11th Christmas as a vegan, and it's shifted so much over the years. I know many of you struggle with what to eat during the holidays and being around non-vegans, especially family members who might not be very understanding. So I'll share a little bit about my experience there. My family overall has been really accepting and supportive of me. It's more that they just don't like it when I what they think, they see me as imposing my lifestyle on them. And I definitely have tried to kind of convince them to eat similar to me over the years, and they have had their resistance to it. Over the years, I've learned to kind of back off and do my own thing. So that's a huge lesson, is not to assume that other people are going to want to eat the way that you do, and try not to pressure them. Resist that temptation of pressuring family members into eating the way that you do, or just kind of being more accepting. The biggest lesson that I've learned is just letting them be and worrying about myself. Something caught in my eye. I find that is what makes things the smoothest. I've also noticed all sorts of little tweaks that I could make. Earlier today, my dad was talking about how I couldn't eat something. And I said, well, you know, Dad, it's not that I can't eat that. It's just I choose not to eat that. My dad's very smart, so he immediately agreed that that was the case. And I feel like this is a really good time to talk about this, because tonight my parents are having a holiday party, and it kind of brought up some interesting tension, very subtle tension. Again, with my parents being so supportive of my lifestyle, it really hasn't been that bad, at least in the past probably 5 or so years. They've been very, very accepting, although it still comes up time and time again of what is Whitney going to eat. They still have no idea, even though it's been 11 years, which I find really fascinating. For me, it's a little different because I don't eat gluten and I avoid soy. I try to eat minimal oils and minimal processed foods. I'm very passionate about organic food. So I think for them, that brings up another issue of not being sure what to have in the house. So usually they leave it up to me to bring in my own food, and my dad always tries to make meals. So tonight they asked, well, what are you gonna join us for dinner? And I said, well, I guess, but I don't know what I'm going to eat. They're having swordfish, and they said they're doing some sort of like a potluck for this holiday meal that they're having. And they said, well, people might bring vegetables, but in my head I'm thinking, well, the vegetables probably aren't going to be organic, and they might have animal products, they might have dairy on them or something. So the best thing that I could say from this lesson is to be prepared. Knowing that my parents are having guests over and they want me to join, what I'm planning on doing is just making food for myself and perhaps eating before the dinner and sitting down with them and having a drink, whether it's sparkling water or just plain water. Maybe they'll have some wine or something, and I'll have some of that. So I can sit down and enjoy the company. And perhaps there will be some food that I can eat, and that would be great, even if it's like a little salad. I think the act of just eating with people really makes a huge difference, and it's definitely going to come up that I'm vegan. It always does. You know, when they start passing around the swordfish, people are going to wonder why I'm not eating that. So the vegan thing comes up. So also another thing that I've learned over the years is to be prepared for these type of situations where conversations come up around what I eat. And I kind of mentally and emotionally prepare myself for those situations of, well, what am I going to say? So for this, I kind of like rehearse it in my head. What's going to happen when somebody brings up the vegan thing, or, you know, why do you choose not to eat fish? And then starts to use the word like can't. I really want to start emphasizing that it's not about can't, it's about that I choose not to. And I also like to kind of just rehearse in my head what I'm going to say in that response of why don't you eat something, right? That usually comes up. And I don't know about you, but I often struggle with that because there's so much I want to say, but that so much of that may not be appropriate to the social situation, or it might kind of come off as defensive. My goal is really to make it seem as an appealing of lifestyle as possible. And for me, that's very, very important. I don't know if that's just because this is my career or because I don't want to turn off anyone to veganism, but I find that it helps me to think about what my mission is with what I'm going to say and how I'm going to handle the situation. So tonight, my mission is really to just come across as a healthy, happy person who loves her lifestyle, who's not, it's not that she can't eat certain foods, it's that she chooses not to, and there's an abundance of food to eat. I definitely don't want people to think that I'm deprived. So that's why perhaps having some food prepared ahead of time to bring to the table would be great. I don't think it's going to be considered rude in this situation. I think that they'll understand because I have different dietary preferences. Instead, I think if I brought over a really good looking and good smelling dish to the table, people might say, you know, that does sound good. It's also always interesting when you're sitting at a table with non-vegans and they're eating some sort of creature in front of you. So in this instance, it'll be swordfish. And there's part of me that's kind of numb to that. And there's also part of me that feels uncomfortable with it. I mean, it's hard to watch people eating flesh. Even though I've had 11 years of experience and many times people have eaten flesh around me, the idea, kind of anticipating it, makes me uncomfortable. And one thing that is really uncomfortable for me is when we start talking about veganism and somebody's, you know, ask me a question, and as I'm answering, they're sitting there eating the flesh of some sort of creature. That's hard. Ultimately, there's not much you can do about that. So again, another mission of mine would be to see if there's something that I could kind of trigger to make them think. It's not that I expect them to put down the fork or pass on the next non-vegan food that comes their way. It's more that after that meal, will they still be thinking about this and not feel threatened by me, but really inspired and educated in a way. So I really encourage that with other people because I definitely don't want to make someone feel guilty. Listen, if there's a dead animal of any kind on the table, I hope that they eat it because that animal died, and it's kind of like, I would hate to see that go to waste in a way, right? That might sound kind of crazy. From a health perspective, I'd rather they didn't eat it, but from a respectful perspective, it would just be a shame for it to go to waste in a way. I don't always think of it that way, but it just occurred to me as I was saying this. I mean, it would feel weird to me. I would almost rather them kind of take it in and then think about how it makes them feel emotionally and physically, and then they can kind of learn from that. For me, when I first went vegetarian, I remember my last meal of meat very, very vividly. I remember, it's like I can look back in time at that plate of chicken that was sitting there on the table, and I had started thinking about going vegetarian earlier that day. And so I remember looking down at this and eating it because I didn't want to hurt my grandmother's feelings. She made this chicken dish for me. And I remember just not enjoying it. I remember feeling like I should finish it, but knowing kind of that it was going to be my last meal as a meat eater. And I feel, so in that sense, when thinking about tonight when they're eating the stored fish, it's kind of like maybe they'll have that same experience in a way. Maybe something will be triggered in them where they're not quite sure. I think that that's the other thing we often forget about when we're in these situations, is that they don't know what to eat quite yet. This happens with my family a lot too, and it's brought up a lot for me. When I'm home with my parents, even though they know that they have a daughter who is thriving on the vegan diet and buys food locally, like I don't have any trouble eating vegan in Massachusetts, in the small town. I mean, there's plenty of options around. Even though they have me as a resource, my parents still really struggle with it. They still think that they need to get their protein from fish. So for me, when I'm around those situations and I see other people eating animals, even though we're having this conversation about veganism, you kind of have to put yourself in that compassionate position of they don't know any better, or they're choosing not to know any better, and they're scared and they're confused. So to them, if they've had their whole life believing that they need to get protein from an animal, or they're only going to be satisfied if they eat this animal, then that's probably why they're eating the food. Not that they're not interested. I meet a lot of people who are interested in veganism and very, very curious, and they kind of want to do it, but they just have all these emotional blockages. And that's where I have a lot of compassion. Something that I learn every time that I'm around my family members is not judging them, being accepting, not trying to throw my views in their face, not trying to interrupt everything, especially during the holiday season, right? You want a lot of peace and love happening. I just try to enjoy myself as much as possible. And I think ultimately that is the biggest goal here, is if I'm enjoying my meal, if I can find the compassion in my heart to be around other people while they're eating animals in front of me, then I'm adding more joy to my life and those around me, right? Whereas it's very tempting to get so worked up about something, and that just creates all this inner turmoil within yourself and around other people, and they can feel it, and then that probably makes them want to like really not consider veganism whatsoever. So for me, it's just about that intention. It's how am I going to feel the best? How are they going to feel the best? And how can I inspire them? So in terms of more specifics around what I eat during the holidays, it really depends. I have been home for a few days now and just been working a lot, so I've just kind of eat when I'm hungry. The first thing I did after the airport is I went to my favorite market. There's a video here from Deborah's Market. Phenomenal. I love that place. It's in Concord, Massachusetts. And I got my favorite gluten-free bread there. I got some gluten-free pasta. My dad picked up some Daiya, his choice. He bought it, which I thought was cool. My dad likes Daiya cheese, so I used the Daiya cheese to make macaroni and cheese. We had some vegan mayo at home from my last trip, so I put that on the bread, and I made, lettuce and tomato sandwiches. And what else? I think I bought chocolate of some sort. I always have to have some sort of sweet around. I bought some vegetables. I bought organic potatoes, organic carrots, zucchini. I can just have sliced potatoes and be so happy, or I'll put the potatoes in rice. I love making soup, so we had veggie broth at home, so I've been, cutting up the zucchini actually is really great in the pasta, but carrots I'll often have in a salad or in a soup of some sort. I just try to get all those little staples and make sure that I have food around for each meal. And then I got some snacks. I'm really into organic potato chips right now. Sometimes I make them at home, but they were on sale, so I bought some. And I bought some bean and rice chips, because those were also on sale, and those are really great. And actually the cool thing was about the bean fields is I ended up sharing them with my mom and my dad. They loved them. So that was a really cool way to kind of share vegan food. And that's another thing too I've noticed, is like, how much can I share meals? Can I buy enough so that everybody can enjoy it? That really starts to lift any stress off. I bought some coconut milk, and everybody in the family is kind of using it and making hot chocolate. I had some leftover Dandy's marshmallows that have been really good. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to make tonight to have during the holiday meal. with everybody at the party tonight, but it'll likely just be something basic, maybe rice or quinoa or pasta with some veggies. I definitely want to make something that looks appealing to everyone, so that's my mission here. And in terms of Christmas, every Christmas Eve I go to the Four Seasons in Boston with my parents. That's my mom's favorite thing to do. She takes us to this nice restaurant there, and we've been going there for so long that they now have a note that I'm vegan, and they always have a vegan meal made for me, which is really cool. And then on Christmas Day, we usually have some big family meal, and my parents make food for me accordingly, and I'll probably do one more shopping trip this week beforehand just to gather some more food together, maybe do some look up some recipes online and find some creative ideas for the holidays. And I would love to hear any ideas that you have. But I really want to share that experience of what I do with my family, what I do during the holidays, what I do around other people. You know, it's interesting, what I didn't say about this party tonight is it's always interesting to be around my parents when they have a party and it's their friends. I feel like sometimes my mom needs to say that I'm vegan, and she kind of laughs it off, not like making fun of me, but I feel like it stresses her out a little bit, and she feels the need to like put it out there, and like, I don't know, I can see that she has some insecurities around my veganism socially. It's just, it's still weird to her after 11 years. So I also have to mentally prepare for that situation. And I often find that her friends are very accepting of me. They're often quite curious. And I feel like at the end of the day, everybody kind of wants to do it. Almost every situation I've been in, I can feel people wanting to do veganism, but are just scared and unsure. So coming back around, it's just that goal of mine of showing, leading by example. I feel great. I think I look great. I love what I eat. And if I can exude that, plus introduce people to it and show them how easy it is and how it's more about what I can do versus what I can't do, that to me makes it all so successful. I see some people are watching live, so I wanted to give people the opportunity to ask questions. Frozen on the screen now, but I can't tell if I froze. But any of you who are watching live, I'll give you a few minutes if you want to use the Q&A app. It's hard to tell with these Google Hangouts. Are you watching on Google Plus or are you watching on YouTube? So what happens with these Hangouts, if you're not familiar with the live Q&As that I do every week, you can watch on YouTube or you can watch on Google Plus. And on YouTube, you can write in these comments, but I can't see them. I could, but then I'd have to switch back and forth all the time. The way that I'm looking at it right now is it's through Google Plus. So if any of you watching live right now want to ask questions, just go to go to the Eco Vegan Gal Facebook page. There's a link, and you click that, open up the window, and on the right-hand side, there's something called the Q&A app. But if you're just tuning in because you came to my channel or you just want to watch, no pressure. This is completely spur of the moment because I want to test my internet connection and my microphone. But I will be hosting the live Q&A in just over a half an hour on the main Eco Vegan Gal channel. So if a question comes up to you after you watch this video today, you can go over to that channel and check that out. There's going to be a link on Google. Well, there already is a link on Google Plus, but I'm going to put up another one as soon as I wrap this up. And I have a guest today named Brian Patton, who runs The Sexy Vegan. He also has a YouTube channel and a great podcast and a website and all social media and all of that. So definitely tune in if you have some time today. Thank you for letting me do this live test, plus have an opportunity to tell you about my holiday experiences. I would love to hear from you. And of course, you can always ask questions in the comments section. I can't guarantee that I'll see them or we'll be able to get to them. That's why the Q&As exist on the main Eco Vegan Gal channel. But I love hearing from you. I would love to hear any holiday advice from you, any tips that you have, past experiences, food that you're eating, whatever you want to share about the holidays, being around non-vegans, being around your family members, whatever concerns you have going on. I want to make sure that you feel supported and know that this is a community here of people that are also leading very similar lives to you. So you're not alone, and we're all going to get through this together, and it's really can be a joyful experience as long as we remain peaceful and calm and secure with our choices. So that's it. I'm going to wrap things up and go get ready for the live Q&A on the main Eco Vegan Gal channel. Thank you for watching. I wish I could see who was watching. It shows me there's 7 people watching right now, and there's no names, there's no photos, but I wish I could see who you were out there watching away. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Like I said at the very beginning of this, if you missed it, I will be doing more frequent videos on this channel. I'm working up to it. I just have been very consumed with a lot of work on Eco Vegan Gal, but I promise you I will be, one of these days I will get to weekly content for you on a regular day. It may be on a Monday or Friday or something like that, and I'll just post every week so you can know when to expect it and keep coming back to learn about all the vegan food that I eat. Okay, that's it today. Hope to see you at the live Q&A with Brian, or one of the live Q&As every Saturday on the main Eco Vegan Gal channel. Hope all of you are doing well, and happy holidays if I don't put up another video before then. Okay, bye.